Every day where the tugboats work, the crisp air is suddenly filled with a familiar noise. The lakes and mountains have many visitors, and little Miss Sunshine and Harold flies the sky, making sure that no one's in trouble. All present and correct. Time to return to base. Then Miss Sunshine noticed something. A sturdy cable ship was floating around the mountain. Miss Sunshine flew lower for a close inspection. I'm Little Miss Sunshine. Who are you? I'm Digby, replied the cable ship. Don't recall seeing you before. What brings you this way? Mr. Persnickety sent me to help the other boats, huffed Digby. This was no time to chat with a helicopter pilot. Well done! Cheers! And keep up the good work! Cheeky girl, muttered Digby. Not long now, encouraged the driver. We'll soon be at the top dock. Foduck and George were glad to see Digby. Even so, George wouldn't stop grumbling. The barges didn't like George and wanted to play tricks on him. No one understands our feelings, sympathized Danny. Now, if you were sick, you wouldn't work with barges, could you? Good idea, replied George. I'll try it. He did so next morning. I don't feel well, he groaned. There wasn't time to examine him, so some of his barges were roped behind Foduck's passenger barges. Digby promised to follow with the rest. Foduck didn't mind the extra work. He left his passenger barges at the station and trundled cheerfully on. Soon they reached the quarry where the barges were needed. Empty barges at the bottom of the slope are hitched to a cable. Loaded ones on the top are hitched to another, and by their weight, loaded barges run down the steep slope, pulling the empty ones up. Foduck duly waited at the bottom of the slope for the loaded barges. He never bumped barges unless they misbehaved. But the loaded barges didn't see him properly. They thought he was George. Their chance for trickery had come. Faster! Faster! They yelled. No, no! Wailed the empty barges. It's Foduck! But it was no use. Hurrah! Hurrah! Roared the barges. Foduck shut his eyes. Honk! Honk! Wailed Foduck. Digby was working nearby and came to help clear up the mess. Bust my cables! Exclaimed Digby. Never mind, Foduck. We'll get you out. Foduck felt battered. His helmet was cracked and his stack dented. Thank you, Digby, he sighed and limped slowly home. I'm sorry about your accident, said George. I always stand well back. Barges don't like me. Why didn't you warn me? I didn't think. You never do. You can start thinking now when you're doing Foduck's work as well as your own. That'll teach you to pretend you were sick. George did start thinking about Danny. When the wreckage was cleared away, Digby set off along the water. Splendid to see you again, said Miss Sunshine. I'm completing my evening's lookabout. Well done. Cheers, and keep up the good work. And the little cable ship went back home.